Dare I say
But
contender?
they're
They
still
weren't on
on.
my
They're still
short.
just on the
They weren't
outside
on
for
my short
me.
list.
Like, I mean, look, their depth is great, and like we talked about heading into the season, they're a very good team in terms of being built for the regular season. Brunson's still their best player. And for all
100%.
the unnecessary slack that Becky Hammond got for the comment she made,
She's
Brunson's
right.
not an NBA Finals winning number one option. He's just not. And he's a great player. As much as I loved him in Dallas, he's been even better than I thought he was going to be. But he's not a number one option on a contender. He's just not. They're close, and they're probably going to give a contender or two a really difficult series going through the playoffs. They're not going to make it easy for anyone with the type of depth they have on this team, with the coaching they have on this team, with the defense they have on this team now. Once OG is back, the way Achua is really locked in, and they've got him a good role now that he's been in New York. They're going to be a very tough team to play. Would not be surprised if they take a contender or two in this conference, 6 or 7 games, but they're not winning. They're not winning a chip. There's no way Brunson is carrying them to that.
Dare I say, I think they can make the conference finals.
I
I was
think
gonna
I think
there's
it's
say the
I
very
think
same
there's a
likely.
thing.
possibility for that for sure.
I think
I
they're in. I
think,
think the conference finals will be Boston versus New York because I think New
and
York will pass up Milwaukee. I
yeah,
think
and
that's
to
what
that
we'll see.
point, I'm thinking if they play Boston, I could see that being a 7. Like, to be honest, because we know how finicky Boston can get in playoff situations. And one thing about Jalen Brunson, dude's a killer. And when you get into those late game situations, I could see him like stealing a game or two that they probably shouldn't win, but they could, right? But if they made it to the finals, I might be a little more surprised, honestly, if they were able to get out of that potential Boston series. But yeah, it's like there's still like a piece, which is sad because they've made great move after great move. Like you look back at the last couple off seasons, starting with the Jalen Brunson edition, they've made nothing but good moves. Hartenstein, Dante DiVincenzo, OG. On papers, it's early still, but Bojan, Alec Burks, really good additions, filling needs on this team. This is a team that a few off seasons back was Evan Fournier was their addition, Kemba Walker was their addition. Like they've made strides since then. But like you said, like as great as JB is, he's amazing. That's something that he would just have to like really prove everybody wrong that no, I can be that guy. And look, I hope he does it because love the guy. Like you said, Devin, we love this guy. He's a great player, but just can't see it. Like it just doesn't. History shows, like Gabe said earlier, history shows it's not something that really happens, even as great as he is. There's been a lot of great undersized guards in this league right now that haven't proven that outside of Steph Curry. So yeah, they're not a contender. They're just on that list of like you said, they can make a deep run, but if they made it to the finals, I would be surprised. If they won the championship, I would damn sure be surprised.
Yeah, I do think they're definitely conference finals, like dang near lock. I almost think they're probably the second best team in the conference. It's just really hard to imagine them beating Boston, and even harder, like imagining them beating whoever comes out of the West. So I would say they're probably not. They have a lot that looks really good, just like on paper. I mean, you just look. They have a top 10 offense. They have a top 10 defense. They have good depth. I mean, they have good playmaking. They have some good shooters. They have veterans. They've got great rebounding. They're like a top 5 rebounding team. Like, there's a lot to really like on this team. It's just that top end talent. Like, it's
Everything
really
you
comes
just
down to the
said,
top end talent. It comes down to the top
every
end talent.
everything you just said, like that screams contender. But then it's like you just
Mhm.
get. And I love Julius Randle, love Jr. But how good is he going to be in the playoffs? That's a question mark. Just like Carl Anthony Towns, that's a big question mark. How good are you going to be once it gets to the playoffs?
Getting
And
OG instead of RJ was one of the big question marks. But yeah, Randall's the other big question mark because both of those guys are always super inconsistent.
it would take obviously Brunson to be him, but Julius Randle would have to be all NBA Julius Randle in the playoffs. If they got both of that, then it's possible, but it's hard to imagine Julius Randle being consistently that good in the playoffs just with his style of play. It's hard for me to like see that. That's what it would take though. It would take like those two playing like They would have to outplay Dame and Giannis. They would have to outplay Mitchell, Garland. They would have to outplay Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. Like, that's how good those two would have to be together. It can't just be Brunson. Like, Randall has to be that elite too.
Yeah, Brunson's great, but like for as great as he is, Tatum's even better with probably even a better supporting cast. Like it's a hard pitch.
Yeah, those two would have to be averaging like an efficient 50, 55 plus a night. And
Yes.
Brunson, I could probably count on to hold up his end of the bargain. I don't know if Randall is doing so, especially the efficiency standpoint.
Yeah, I hope Julius erases those playoff woes, but to be that elite, I'm not sure if he's capable of that. Now, watch me get to the playoffs and he's fucking Amari Stoudemire 2.0, just going crazy. Like, but I love their team though, man. Like, they have a beautiful supporting cast, man. Dante's been hooping. iHeart's been crazy. Mitchell Robinson's going to be back soon, they said. Like, they have done an amazing job rebuilding this roster, but top end talent trumps everything.